Hello everyone, welcome again to another Lazy Arquitecto stream where we teach you AutoCAD in a way that is more productive so you can stop wasting your time. So today we have an awesome presentation. I'm gonna share with you something that I've been working on for quite some time already. It's a guide, a PDF I created for you. We're gonna go over that today and show you how it's gonna help you to save time in AutoCAD, right? That's the main goal. So again, today's stream is gonna be a little different. I'm showing something. I've been working on this for months already. So it's called the LazyMacro guide. And right now it's on the beta version, but I made this after realizing that I keep building custom commands over and over to make my life easier, to make my task in AutoCAD easier and quicker. So I say, well, why not put together this guide and share it with you? So I clean it up and all of that, and today I'm gonna show it to you. So again, this guide is the same that I use daily to save time in AutoCAD. All right. So without further ado, let me go ahead and start. Oh, Asad is on the chat. Hi, Asad. How are you? Hope you are doing great today, my friend. Thanks for joining us. I believe everything is working. Let me just make sure that everything is working, mic and everything. Otherwise, sorry about the technical difficulties that we had. Yep, everything is working nicely. All right, great. So let me start sharing my screen. Let me put this out of the way. Let's see over here. Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen over here, and here you have it, guys. Asad says, how are you, Master Irving? Hi Asad, hope you're doing great today, my friend. I'm very excited today to share some of my work. This guide that I put together for you, it's on the beta version because again it's still work in progress, but this is again one of the expertise that we have, macros, which are basically custom commands in AutoCAD that are very efficient, very quick to create. Everyone should be creating their own macros in AutoCAD and start saving time, right? So that's the whole idea of this guide. Again, it's a cleanup version of the notes I use because you know me already. I'm not memorizing all of these codes and characters. No way. So I have a template, and this is the template lines for macros that I clean it up and put it together for you. So again, it's a beta version, and we are sharing this with our members on Patreon. Only 30. I figure, again, this is not 100% perfect yet, but with those 30 folks that join the Lazy Arquitectos on Patreon, we're gonna make this better and keep improving on it. But again, what this really is all about macros in a very concise way, with the characters that you need to create macros, how they work, how you do it, and the most important thing, how to quickly put together a custom macro command by utilizing the template lines that I use to simply copy and paste and start creating your macros. And we're gonna demonstrate that today with an example, a real example and a real task in AutoCAD. But basically, to quickly go over this guide, I try to simplify it and keep it simple as selections. These are the macro template lines that we need to start selecting objects, entities, in this case leaders, layers, text, m-text, and so on. So we can just quickly copy and start our selection in AutoCAD. Of course, after selecting objects, we're also going to need to do some modifications, right? That's very important also. So maybe we want to change a layer of certain entities, certain lines, text, and so on. Maybe we want to change the text style. We can quickly do that again by copying our template macro lines and put together this custom command for you that fits your needs, right? So of course, the third step is also do creations. By creations means in addition to selecting or modifying objects, sometimes we need to create something new. For example, before making or assigning a specific layer to all circles in my drawing, you might first need to create the new layer, right? Because maybe the layer doesn't exist in your drawing. So that's where creations come into handy. Again, let's say we need to create a layer. It's very, very easy, guys. You don't have to think about anything here. We can just copy and go to AutoCAD and start implementing by pasting our template macro lines. And we're gonna again demonstrate this with a real example after I briefly explain or show you our new LazyMacro guide. So when again, maybe we want to create a text style. So that's all we need. And of course, I implemented some notes here also for you, so you know what this line does. Over here, we need to replace the text style name. I even made it so easier for you guys that I capitalize the things that you need to modify in your line. So let's say where I put that right here. So for your convenience, I've written in uppercase anything that you will need to replace with your own standards. So again, that's for you, for your convenience. In this case, maybe the layer name is capitalized. So it says here, replace layer name with a layer from your CAD standards. Because again, everyone have different workflows and so on. I do mostly architectural, but you might do electrical, civil, whatever. We have some comments on the channel before we keep showcasing this. Let me see. It's our friend Sergio de Anda Suarez says, can you turn up the volume, please? All right. Okay, so what about now, Sergio? Above says, hi, Alam, how are you? Hope you're doing great. Let me know if the volume is good now, because I did tested this and it was working perfectly, but let me check again the volume as Sergio is asking. Let's see. Sergio is asking. Yeah, volume is pretty good, my friend. I don't know. Maybe in your end. Yeah, volume is pretty good, my friend. Okay, so all right, so let's keep moving. Really briefly go over this guide before we showcase and do a demo, a presentation utilizing this in a real task in AutoCAD. People on the chat, you're gonna have also to do some we're gonna have a Q&A also, so you can ask your questions, but you know, after we create, modify, and do our selections, we also have in this LazyMacro guide a real example, right? A real example, and I broke it down for you, explaining each step, so that way you understand how to put together these lines, right? and we're gonna again follow this guide to create our demo over here. So yeah, so again, 8 pages LazyMacro guide PDF that I put together for you after creating hundreds of AutoCAD macros, my friends. That means I tested these macros more than 300 times, because for each macro I created, I probably had to test it more than 10 times. But yeah, my friend, again, all of my experience, expertise in macros is finally now put together in this PDF. So now let's go back and do a presentation, a demo. All right. So before we do that, are there any questions on the chat? Let me know before we again utilize our brand new LazyMacro guides PDF and put together a task, right? Or automate a task in AutoCAD in real time, because we're live. That's the beauty. And now the way we're gonna do this demo or presentation is I don't want to just do what everyone else does. By this I mean they just show you the good part, right? Everything is good, everything is positive. You use whatever product you're showcasing, and everything is perfect. This is not the demo that you're gonna see here. Why? Because the more feedback I get from you and from these 30 people that are gonna help me or test or utilize this beta version, the better it is for me, right, to make it better and better for you. So again, you're gonna see some of the difficulties. I'm gonna show you all the mistakes and everything. I'm not gonna hide anything, because again, there is nothing perfect here, my friend. So again, I'm gonna show you my mistakes. I'm gonna show you what's good, what's wrong during this demo presentation, because that's how it is, right? If you are a beginner using macros, you might not have the expertise that I have at this stage. So I want to make it easier and simpler for you to just write any macro and automate any of your AutoCAD tasks. All right? So that's very important to say again. So let's go back and start then. So far, no questions. That's good. So let's start with the example or the demo. All right, how do we do this? Let me see. I'm gonna put this. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share or do side by side maybe, so that way you guys can see this better. Let me see. Oops, first I need to move this. Let me close this palette. We're preparing, so we're almost there, guys. So let me go ahead and close this for now, so that way I can place this over here. And all right. Okay. All right. So I think we're good right there. All right, guys, let's do this. Sats on the chat says, how can I get this LazyMacros PDF? So, good question, Asad. That's a great question, my friend. So, the way it's gonna work is, let me go ahead and patreon.com. Okay, so let me share my screen over here. Okay, so So again, this is the beta version of this LazyMacro guide, and what we're doing is we're gonna open 30 spots on our Lazy Arquitecto tier membership on Patreon. So again, right now you can see it's unlimited, right? Anyone can join, well, except our Lazy Principal tier, which is oops, let me see, which is 3 remaining, as you can see, because I don't have unlimited time to meet one-on-one with 100 people. So that's why I have a limit of persons. But you can see the Lazy Arquitecto tier on our Patreon membership. It's unlimited so far. Well, that's not gonna be the case anymore, because in order to test this beta version of the LazyMacro guide, here we're gonna share our guide here asset on this tier, and I'm gonna limit it here to 30 person. So that's why again, the idea is that I want to share this with everyone, because it's a work in progress, my friend. Again, you're gonna see that in a moment when we do the demo. So that's why, instead of me waiting, maybe a couple of months as that to have this perfect 100%, I decided to put it out for you and help me improve it, right? So that's the main reason, my friend Assad. So that's how you're gonna get it. That's after this presentation, after this live stream. I'm gonna create a post, share it on the Lazy Arquitecto Patreon tier membership, and again, it's gonna be only available for 30 people. All right. So that's how you're gonna get it as that. So let's go ahead and do the presentation, the demo. All right. So let me see over here. I hope I answer your question, my friend Assad. Okay, good question though. All right, let's keep moving, guys. All right. So, okay. So I'm gonna open my notes over here because, all right. So I have my notes right there. All right. Let's see. On my screen, I have a equipment plan that I received from corporate. So I need to set this equipment plan per my standards, specifically the text. You can see I have text on different sizes, different layers. Where's the now I cannot see my layer. Anyway, so different layers, different colors, textiles also. This is actually my standard textile, but not this one. Anyway, and there are also some text that are in def points that I don't really care. They are good for corporate to reference, but not for me. I want to erase all of these. So doing this manually will not only take me a lot of time, but will also cause errors. I might forget to erase one of these tiny def points text, or forget to, I don't know, change the size of one of my text. Anyway, so we're gonna automate this task today using our brand new LazyMacros guide in beta version. So what I'm gonna do first is write some notes. So what do I need to achieve? So I'm gonna type erase all text in def point layer, place all text in my notes layer, standard maybe, update the text style, change the font size. So those are some, again, tasks that I need to do. Okay, so that's very important to note first what you want to achieve or do with your macro command or with your custom command. Now, of course, you can see here, this is in the beta version. I just wrote a note for myself. Add an interactive worksheet for notes and macro creation. That would be very helpful to have, right? Don't you think? Maybe by the end of this, it would be 9 pages now, but it doesn't matter. Maybe by the end of this example, oops, let me close this. What's this thing? I cannot close it. Doesn't matter, I guess. Maybe by the end of the example, I can say, here is your space to try things and to write your notes and all of that, as a good idea that I just had while testing this guide. So, you know, again, it's work in progress. That's why I don't want to share it publicly with everyone yet. Okay, so let's go back to our notes. Our friend Asad says, I get it. Great, Asad. Okay. So once I put together what I need my task or my command to do, I can name my command also. So maybe, I don't know, macro fix equipment notes or text. I don't know, that's all up to you, but you will need a name also to when you create this command. Okay, so now let me erase this. Now let's start. So let's start with the erase all text in def point layer. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my time to do this first task with you, thinking that you are a total beginner. All right, you're a total beginner. You don't know what's going on. You're gonna utilize this guide for the first time. You didn't see any of our 100 of macros that we created on our Lazy Arquitecto YouTube channel through 8 years that we have the channel. So that's why I'm gonna focus on this task the most. So let's go then. How to erase all text in def point layer on my equipment plan. Remember that there's not only text, but there might be M text also. You can see that's an M text, but once you explode this, you're gonna see that there is also text. So let me undo that. So those are different entities. So instead of me to see what's text, what's M text, I want to do for both. All right. So let's go ahead, and we don't know anything about macros, guys. We're beginners. So, well, after we go over and read some of the instructions and also what macros are, we are just, you know, text string that combines the commands and system variables you use all the time. So when you use this, AutoCAD performs several steps at once. So, and a good example for this is when you clean up your drawings, you normally use audit command, you use purge command then, and you also save your drawing. And you do all of these one by one, right? Well, with a macro, you can do one click and we'll do all of those 3 steps, skipping windows or dialog boxes and prompts and all of that. Because let's be honest, we always say yes when we are asked to fix errors, right? So what's the point then? So that's what macros are in the most simple form. Okay, now we want to create our macros. So how do we do that? Well, here is where should I store my macros. The easiest way is to store them in your command macros palette. Of course, there are other ways over here, such as your tool palette, quick access panel, and so on and so on. But let's use the command macros palette. So command macros palette. I'll press enter, and here you have it. Now, what do I do next? Like, I don't know, I'm new to macros. Well, let's keep reading. So you can save any of the suggested macros that appear under Insights. Okay, so saved Insights. All right, and we have one command right here. Let's see what's going on. What else? And once saved, you can edit it to create your own custom versions. Awesome. So first I need to save this. You can see here I have already a recommended macro by AutoCAD. AutoCAD recommended this, probably using AI or something, by the actions or the tasks I always do. So AutoCAD is recommending me copy, rotate, preview. So doing all of these 3 commands. So I already tried most of these recommended macros, but the reality is they don't fit my needs. AutoCAD actually don't really understand me or don't really understand my task. So instead of me to reusing this, what I'm gonna do is, per our instructions, I'm gonna click these 3 dots and say save. So once I do that, look what's gonna happen. AutoCAD is gonna add that command in our saved options right here. Okay? So what else? To modify a saved macro, right click and choose Command Macro Editor. Okay, let me try that. So I'm gonna right click and say Command Macro Editor. Okay, and here you have it. That's all you need to start creating your commands. Okay, so now back to our task of deleting or erasing all text and mtext. Also remember, there are other entities such as mtext. Well, first we need to name our command. In this case, per our notes, we already thought on a name. So I'm gonna simply copy and go to our AutoCAD and paste it. Control V. Fixed equipment text. Great. We can add a description here. I don't know. This command fix all text per our standard. That's all up to you. You could even add an image over here, maybe find it online or create it yourself if you have the time. But for now, let's just skip that portion. But here's the important part, the macro, right? And you can see AutoCAD has created automatically this macro for us that we are not gonna use. Again, I already tried on my experience testing and trying all of these macros, and they're not really helpful because they don't understand my needs. They don't understand my work, the type of job that I do. So that's what we are gonna use our guide. All right, so we don't know anything about macros. Let's go back and use our template lines. So everything starts with a character. Characters are required, are special in macros. Okay, so we have a brief explanation there, but let's go back to the example. Let's see. Like, I'm new again. I'm how can I say? I'm simulating. I don't know anything here. I'm new. So let me see the example to get an idea. So let's start where it all begins, with the task to update a bunch of textile. While setting up my equipment plan to automate this task, I began by copying and pasting the macro template lines already provided. As always, I started with CC to blah blah blah, and then okay. So looks like all of our custom commands will have to start with CC. And it says cancel, but what's CC does? It says cancel any previous action a couple of times. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy this and go ahead here and paste it with Control V. For some reason, this command macro palette doesn't let you right click and paste, so the only way to paste it is with Control V on your keyboard. So I believe it's because it's not old, it's almost brand new. I think introduced maybe 2 years ago only. So anyway, so once we have that, remember the task that we're gonna need to do: erase all text and empty text in def point layer. So so what's next? Well, what's the verb? What's the task, right? So over here, let's keep reading. So once we do CC and then the AutoCAD command system variable, I need the command. If we have the task to erase something, in this case text, well, that's what I'm gonna use, the command erase, right? Anyone can create macros as long as you know the commands in AutoCAD. By that I mean the command's name and their prompts. So if you've been using AutoCAD for a couple of years, you should know already the commands, right? So I know the command erase. So let's keep going. Now, with the characters required in front, what do you mean? Well, I don't know. Let me go ahead and go to the characters section, because I remember there was a character section. Here we go, characters. Almost every custom macro command requires a special character. These characters make the macro work behind the scenes. They're like secret levers that control how your macro behaves. Think of them as settings or switches that tell AutoCAD exactly what you want your macro to do. So, and if we go back to our example, it says that with the characters required in front of the command. So let me go back to the characters. What are those characters? I don't know anything about macros. Well, instructs AutoCAD to use the standard definition of a command. Use always at the start of a command to make sure your macro runs AutoCAD's original version, not a custom or altered one by other programming languages. Very important to use that period. So instead of me from copying, I'm just gonna add that period, because that's just a period. Oops. You can see sometimes also you see another problem or difficulty here in AutoCAD. The macros palette, since again is almost brand new, when pasting or writing something, it will push you to the end of the character, and that will cause errors. You see that? That's so weird. Again, that's an AutoCAD glitch. That's not my problem, but like I said before we start this demo, I'm gonna show you all of the problems. I'm not gonna hide them as other folks that when they show their product, they just show you everything is good, everything is nice, everything works perfect. Not in this case, you can see. So again, that's a glitch from the macros palette by AutoCAD, that somehow when we type something, it pushes by the end, and that's very annoying. So what I'm gonna do for now is go to my notes over here. Okay, and of course I need to add this interactive worksheet, give you a space on the beta version so you can type and test your commands. But remember how we first had the CC, so I'm gonna copy that, go back I'm gonna paste it a couple of times because here per the note says use 2 times at the start of any macro to cancel any active command. So you always start with a clean slate. Yeah, it's very important again because you might be in the middle of a command and it's still active. You need a way to cancel 2 times to make sure that your command will work perfectly. Now, we also said that we're going to use the erase command, remember? Right? You all know the erase command. And then we were trying to figure it out, what are those characters that we need in front? Well, we realized we need a period because that way make sure the AutoCAD is the original version and not an altered version, meaning we might download a list program from online, and you know, when you download tools like that, it alter or modify your commands inside AutoCAD. That's why it's important to use the period. So I'm going to use it, period, in front of my commands. All right. So next, the underscore says runs the global English version of a command. So in the notes is always used at the start of a command for sharing with friends or working in global teams, meaning this will run the English version. Let's say you want to share this with, I don't know, your Canadian friend and you are in the US. So make sure you use the underscore so it will work for, or it will utilize the original version, which is the English version. So I'm gonna add that instead of copying, you know, it's an underscore. I'm just gonna add it there. All right, and then we have also the semicolon that says works like pressing enter. So let's go back to our example. So it says characters required in front. We already did that. And don't forget to the enter. Oh yeah. So the semicolon. Let's go back. Let's see what's going on with the semicolon. So works like an enter. Use always after a command or system variable. If you need the macro to press enter several times, just string extra semicolons together. Okay, so I'm gonna press enter like so. All right, great. So I did something, I guess. I'm erasing something. I don't know what this is gonna do, but I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna copy and go over here under the macro section and paste it. Again, we need to paste it with Control V on our keyboard. So I'm gonna click OK to see what we did. I don't know, I'm new, I'm just learning this. Sounds like interesting to save my time. You know, tasks are taking me a lot of time in AutoCAD. Why not try this LazyMacro guide? See if I can create maybe a couple of custom commands and save my time. So I'm gonna click to test it. Fix equipment text. Click. Oops. What? Nothing happened. What's going on? Well, so AutoCAD is saying erase select objects. Oh, I didn't select any objects. Come on, what's going on? Let's see. Let me go back to the example. So, and don't forget to the enter and to make your selections. No, I forgot that step. I'm not selecting anything yet. All right, let me go back to the command macro editor of my fix equipment text, and let's go here. And for now, I'm gonna use my notes. So let's see what else we need then. I need a selection. Oh, I remember there was a selection section over here. Here it is. Almost every custom command begins with a selection or ask for a selection afterward. This is essential because once a selection is made, any command or modification can be applied. Okay, so what I need to select is my text and my mtext. So let's see, entities, leaders, I don't need to select a leader. Layers, I don't need to select a layers. Text, here we go. So it says select all text in a drawing. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this line. So there's nothing in capital letters, so I'm assuming I don't have to change anything. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and paste this over here, and I'm gonna paste it with Control V. Okay, so I'm doing my selection. I'm selecting text. Let's see what's going on. Text, mtext. Oh, but I need to select two entities, text and mtext. Let's see. Multiple entities in certain layer. Here we go. That's what I need, because I need to select two entities, text and mtext, and also in the depth point layer. Here we go. That's the selection I need. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. Make sure I select all of the characters, including the period or point. So I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna use that instead, because that's for multiple entities. So I'm gonna leave the period, because again that was important to enter it before any command, and I'm gonna paste my new selection. So I need to check the notes as replace layer name and entities with a layer and entity, text, mtext, etc. from your CAD standards. All right, so my layer name would be depth points. I know that. Depth points. And my entity 1 would be text. And my entity 2 would be mtext. That's what I want to select. So what else? Okay. So let's test this. What's going on, right? I mean, it should work, I guess, right? So I already selected my entities and in the depth point layer. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this with Control C and see what's going on. So I'm gonna paste it and click OK. All right, so let's see. Let's test it. I'm gonna click. What? Still asking me to select objects. What's going on? So let me expand the command line version. I mean the command, the command line with, let me expand it with F2 on my keyboard. See what's going on. Okay, so we're doing a selection layer, depth points. We're selecting text and mtext. And there were 14 found. That means there are 14 of these. So they found my selection. So that's good. Then we're using the command erase. Okay, but still need something. It's still asking me to select objects. What's going on, Lazy Arquitecto? So let's go back to selections. Let's see what's going on. So under selections, we need, AutoCAD is still asking for to select my objects. What's going on? So there's a previous selection template line, and this says useful after a command is used and a selection has been made. Here we go. That's our case. That's my case. So let me go back to my macro and add that template line. Well, I'm gonna add it in my notes first. So I'm gonna copy that and add it here, paste it, and let's see what's going on now. I'm gonna copy this. Of course, there's nothing to update. There's no capital. The notes doesn't say to update anything, so I should be good. I'm gonna copy and paste it. Okay, with the previous selection, I'm gonna click OK. Come on, it should work. I already tried this 3 times. Let me test it. Oops. Oops, what's going on? It says invalid option keyword. What do you mean? That's weird. So let's go back to our macro. Oops. Let's go back to our macro, command macro editor. Here we go. Let me see over here what's going on, right? That's again some of the technical difficulties that you'll encounter as a beginner. Again, I'm just simulating I'm a beginner also here to go through each step and see some of the difficulties that you will encounter. So we already did our selection for def points and also say our entities for text and mtext. So now we are using the erase command. We're utilizing the previous selection, but still we're not erasing our command. I mean our, oops, let me see what's going on. Let me cancel this. Yeah, our text is still there in def point. That means it didn't work. So let's go back to our notes. So let me see what's going on over here. Let me go back to the guide. So there are some quick answers from Lazy Arquitecto. Where should I store my macros? Oh, there's troubleshooting. So one of the troubleshooting methods that you cannot see right now is to break down your macro. Okay, if something is not working, we need to somehow test each step. For instance, here we have this CC, right? So that's there. So I'm gonna break this down. I'm gonna copy this, paste it, and first we do CC, right? That's the first step to cancel any command. So then we're gonna select our entities in def point layer. So I'm gonna break that down, and then we're gonna erase our objects, and then we're gonna break this down also because then we want to select a previous selection over here. So I broke this down and I'm gonna test each one. Well, this one we already know it works because it's just cancel, right? So let's go ahead and test this one. So I'm gonna copy that, go back, command macros editor, erase everything, paste. Oops, no, I didn't want to erase the CC, remember? So I'm gonna leave the CC there. I'm gonna paste it. Gonna click OK. Oops, my AutoCAD is lagging a little bit. I don't know why. Okay. So so let's go ahead and test this. I'm gonna cancel some just so it's nice and clean, the command line. So I'm gonna go ahead and test this. And that's where is the problem. Do you see that? So the troubleshooting technique explained also on the guide, which is covered right now. I need to uncover it. But I mean, it's gonna show on the once I share this, of course. But that's the part that is wrong, is this part over here. Not CC, not erase, not P, but this part is what is giving us the problem. So once we found where is the problem, let's see what's going on. And also here on the troubleshooting question, how do I troubleshoot my macros? I explained that with F2 you can see what's going on with the macro, or what it's doing, or what is causing the problem. So we're using this sys or SSX, which is a command to select objects. And also explain here, if you don't know anything about a particular command, you can utilize it as a regular command, SSX, press enter. Oops. For some reason, this is not working. Let me see what's going on. Okay. For some reason, this command is not even working here in AutoCAD. And that's the problem. Yep. So that's the problem, guys. So, and that's another way to troubleshoot your macros is, if it's not working on your command, on your macro command, try it as a regular command in AutoCAD, and you can see that the SSX selection that we were utilizing is not working even here in AutoCAD for some reason. You will see it exists, but when I press enter, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't ask for anything, which it's supposed to ask for. Okay, so that's a problem again, not from the guy or from me, but from AutoCAD itself. So what I'm gonna do is maybe close and reopen AutoCAD for now. Okay, let's see if that helps. So I'm gonna save and I'm gonna reopen AutoCAD again. See, maybe that will fix the problem. So I'm gonna open and launch AutoCAD. It's loading on my other screen. So far, is there any questions? Let me know in the chat, because we are live. We are live, guys. Okay. So let's go ahead and go back to my screen. Okay, so we relaunch or close and reopen AutoCAD. So let's try the command again, SSX. And here you have it, folks. That's crazy how it's crazy how AutoCAD glitches and problems can be also a headache for you. But you know, that's what I said before the demo, that we're gonna go over all of the difficulties that you might encounter, and you saw how I solve it. I had to close and reopen AutoCAD, and now when I use the SSX selection command, it finally asks or ask to select something, or prompts you with the questions. So of course, I explain on the guide also, if you don't know anything about a command or a tool, you can simply press F1 and you will see that SSX is express tool, blah blah blah, to create selections and even all of the different options that you need. But yeah, so now that this is working, I believe our command should work also. So let me open our drawing, in this case our equipment plan. Let me close this so I don't confuse you. This other drawing, let's go back to here, and let me go back to our code. In this case, not the broken one, because we already found that the problem was AutoCAD itself. For some reason the SSX selection wasn't working, so I had to close and reopen AutoCAD. So let's go ahead and copy our macro that we created, And let's go back and add it to our macro section. Now paste it and click OK. So let's test this. Click and boom, look what just happened, folks. We were able with a single click in a short macro to erase or select and then erase all text and M text in our drawing. And that's the beauty of macros. You can perform multiple tasks with a single click. And for now, I'm gonna undo so you can see the text and M text in depth point layer back, because I want to also finish all of these other tasks, like place my text in standard layer, update my text style, change the font size, the color of my text, and so on. So I'm gonna go ahead and paste the final code that I was able to follow along with the new LazyMacro guide, and simply now when I have to fix my equipment plan text, all I gotta do is utilize my new LazyMacro command, and boom, you can see immediately your text size, style, dimension, even layers are now consistent, even the color, and so on. So here you have it, folks, a demo of the Lazy Arquitecto, or not the Lazy Arquitecto, the LazyMacro guide that we put together for you. Again, we show you not only the beauty or the positives, but also the problems that you might encounter as a beginner creating macros. So here you have it, folks. My guide, the template lines I use over and over to create macros in AutoCAD and save my time. So let me know on the chat, what do you think? Are you excited about this guide? Do you think it's gonna help you? Let me know in the chat, or ask anything about it. Okay, let me see if there are any questions. Assad, Sergio, Alam is also on the chat with us. So in order to give you time for your questions, I am gonna share it, right? I'm gonna share this Lazy guide on Patreon, the beta version, of course. So let me see over here. How do we do this? Yeah, sure. I'm gonna do a post, and I'm gonna attach this beta version. I'm gonna close it so I can save it. Where do I save it? Oops, you're not seeing my screen, sorry. Okay. So I'm gonna go to Patreon. Lazy Arquitecto, yep. Lazy tools, blogs, files. LazyMacro guide, beta version. So I'm gonna go ahead and save it there. Let me see, file. All right, so I'm gonna stop right here and finish the live stream so I can better share the LazyMacro guide. Okay, guys, if there are no questions, again, I'm gonna stop right here. We're probably gonna do another demo with another real example if I see that people are interested on seeing another example. But yeah, if there are no questions, I'm gonna stop right here and I'm gonna see you folks next Friday. All right, next Friday at 11 a.m. in our Patreon community. So only for today, since this was an exception, we did the live stream open to the public because again we wanted to share our new work, our new LazyMacro guide. But next Friday I was gonna see you on Patreon, on the community there. It's free actually, for the live streams only, so you can join us there. It's free with your email. We are more than 200 people already there. Of course you can also be paid member if you want to download not only our LazyMacro guide from today, but all of our dynamic blocks, commands, Lisp, templates, and so on. All right. So have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'm gonna see you here next Friday on Patreon. All right. Bye bye.